There's been a lot made over the years about your relationship with Dwayne for obvious reasons. You guys are good now, right? Like, just to clarify, you guys are... What is the relationship?
I'm so old. I haven't won a match in like 5 years, man. And no one notices, thank you. But if you check the stats, I'm on a bit of a slump.
You're due.
He's not exactly an easy opponent. I need to get somebody really easy to get a win on the board before I go knocking on the rock store again. You were saying...
What's your relationship with Dwayne today?
So I would like to think, in my perspective, that we always have been good, except for one little patch where I really messed up. I got selfish, and me being living WWE at the point and not having any concept of growth or someone else's perspective, I took Dwayne's comments as not genuine. And my view was, if you love something, be there every day.
Right.
What a hypocrite I am, because I still love WWE and I can't go all the time. And I just didn't see that. I was so selfish. So I had his number and like we could have talked about it. Instead of going like, hey man, I'd like to try to do this thing to hook you back in and maybe we can collaborate and really make it big. I was just like, F this, I'm just calling this dude out. This is a moment, he gave me an opening, I'm gonna kick the door in. And I was diligent, and I understand why he got upset. Because he's changing the perception of the industry. Him, Dave Bautista, they've made it okay to be in WWE. WWE has had that like carnival performer stereotype, and pro wrestlers have had that like carny stereotype for so long. And these guys are breaking down barriers and shattering ceilings, and on top of that, just transcending the art form. And I just got selfish and wanted a main event marquee match because it would better what I thought was the business. And that's so short-sighted and selfish. It worked, but it worked at the cost of two people who communicated and almost put it in jeopardy. And there was a moment where there was a lot of bad vibes between us, and rightfully so, because Dwayne came back. And he wanted to give to the business openly and as what he could. He has a great perception of WWE and understands that you build equity, you go something else and you pass the torch. You give away all of your electricity, as he would say. And he was trying to do that on his own terms, and I wasn't having any of it. And we made some great TV, so much so as that one dude wants to see it again. But it was almost at the cost of our friendship, which I would like to say now is in a really good place.
How hard was it to rebuild that friendship?
Well, I think step one of any conflict is to somehow find your fault. It's my fault. And I knew exactly what I was doing. And I also knew that I had to punch up to his level. He came in a league of his own. And to make sure that it's like Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, I gotta be Mike Tyson. And Rock was like Ali, and I was like some scrub like Glass Joe from Punch-Out. You know, like I had to punch my way up, and I had to do it by really, really blurring the lines of collaborative work, which is like, if we're in the WWE and we have a match, I assume that we're gonna perform just like stunts in a movie. And our concern is to safely do the show. That's the magic. And the magic is to be able to do it again and again and again. And you trust your performer. Nothing's different when you verbally have issues with each other. It's all in good fun and it's all for the business, but you're supposed to have trust with each other. And I violated his trust. And as soon as the event in Miami was over, and I think then, and I'm thinking for Dwayne, but I can only think then his perspective began to be like, whoa, first of all, I lost. I finished second.
Well, oh, okay.
And second of all, I tried to lose with as much humility as possible. There's an iconic shot of me on one knee, just with the WrestleMania garb around me, and me with the worst look on my face, like I just lost the biggest moment of my life, which I did. And then right after that, the first thing I did was I went to Dwayne's mom and I gave her a big hug and I said, I know you were brought up in this business. I hope you can understand my perspective, because I said some bad things to make you feel bad about me, and I said some bad things about your son. And I hope with what you just saw in our performance, you understand that my goal was simply to sell tickets and do business. And she forgave me right there. And then as soon as that embrace broke, it was right at Rock's dressing room, and I went right into Rock, and I said the exact same thing. And it's only when we started the build-up for New York that I got to look at myself in the mirror deeper and was like, I was wrong. Not only did I hope he understand my perspective, but a year later, I knew that my perspective was wrong. And yes, it worked, and yes, we sold tickets, and yes, people loved it, and they chose sides, and it was a real polarizing event. We could have done that with everybody working together and playing nice. And that was my fault.
I think the most important word in there that you mentioned is humility, and you've talked a lot, like our previous conversations, and I've heard you talk about, safe to say you've learned more from failure and missteps, even than successes in your life and career.
I think that's a pretty good perspective of life. I encourage failure. That's why I played the piano in there. Not because I can play. No, I'm for real. So you're laughing because you heard me play.
No.
I'm trying to learn to play the piano. And when I say trying to learn, I'm at thank you very much. That's how. I'm 46. I started when I was 40. There's a lot of waiting on movie sets, so I figured I'd get a keyboard, and in between the waiting, I'd try to learn to play piano. And every day I'm better than I was yesterday. Still not any good by the standard of people who play on a stage like this, but I'm better than I was yesterday. And every time I see a piano in public, don't take this out of context, please. My wife is here, let's keep it respectable. I have performance anxiety. The joke sank in, that was good. But I have a serious thing about playing in front of people. My hands start to shake, I start to sweat, I can feel my pulse, I can't slow it down, I can't find my calm. And I can practice alone, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of learning this. And then I know a person is around and I just freeze up. And the reason I started to play piano, and one of my reach goals, is to try to just classically sit down with that single malt on the keyboard and be like, hey guys, how are you tonight? And just kind of, play so you can hear me, but you can't hear me, and then just be like, all right, that's it, see you later. So I have to get over that fear. And that's me trying to get over that fear.
Right.
And that wasn't perfect. I failed. I didn't play to the standard that I see in my head. But I also was better than I was the last time I did that in public. And the last time I played a piano, that was just randomly there. So of course you learn from failure. You don't learn much from success at all.